I'm going to talk about self-esteem and why it was mistaught when I was younger, and the consequences, and why it's caused a lot of problems uh, as adults when it was taught to children. When I was younger, we're talking about the 1980s, occasionally you would hear people talk about self-esteem, almost always coming from women. And in the 90s, it was a very popular subject. And I was always interested in psychology, and women believed that self-esteem was the most important thing to teach people, but not that you should teach a person self-esteem by achievement, but that it should be taught to them by compliment, meaning that you should tell people that they've done a good job even when they haven't. And it led to things like participation awards, not keeping score in baseball games, um, and giving everybody a ribbon. Everybody gets a ribbon. No more winning and losing, etc. And it lots of problems came out of this because these children became adults, and these adults cannot handle the realities of the world. When they fail, they panic, they cry, they get angry, they scream, they blame other people. And we knew it was coming. I knew when I was younger that this whole self-esteem thing was a bunch of nonsense. And there were studies done where they tested people. And one of the tests was they would give a student a test that was, I don't remember if the test was easy to do. You know what, they had two groups of students, and they would give them a test. In one group, they said that they did a good job even when they didn't. And the other group, they said you didn't do a good job, but at least you tried. And then they made the test harder. That's what they did. Okay. So they made the test harder, and what they discovered is that the kids that they told that they had done a good job couldn't handle the harder test. They got angry. And I remember seeing a video, so it's in my mind. I remember seeing a student getting angry when he couldn't answer the questions. And the other group, where they said you didn't do a good job, but at least you tried, did not get angry when the test got harder. And this came out in the 90s, and at some point, it had to have been in the 2000s, I read an article where it said psychologists are starting to believe that promoting self-esteem was a mistake. And I was like, how dumb are these people? The people that come up with these theories, when you have any field, like someone's a psychologist, that doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. The world is filled with stupid people who think that they're authoritative on so many different subjects, and they come up with these ideas like self-esteem and self-confidence as being the key to everything, and they spread it without knowing for a fact that it's true, without testing it, and the list goes on, making a lot of presumptions. When people I had a successful business, and when people talk about wealthy people, I know how to tell you why you're not wealthy. It's so easy. It's because you didn't put enough work into it. I worked my ass off my whole life to be wealthy, committing all of my free time to achieve something. I didn't go out partying and take all the vacations and go out drinking and doing drugs and all that. I worked because I enjoyed doing it. In fact, the reason why I worked so hard was because I didn't have a lot of friends. I had nothing else to do, so I spent my time working. If I had more friends, I would have socialized more. So achievement, self-esteem for me came from achievement. And when I failed, there were times with my business that I failed, and at some point I would give up. But then came a day when I overcame that. And when I failed, I was like, there's got to be a solution to this. And I kept on working until I found a solution, and I started succeeding more often. I don't fail at projects anymore because they are thought through in advance, and I already know before I start the project what the chance of success is going to be, when before I wasn't doing that. So today's snowflake culture came from the belief from their parents that teaching people self-esteem without achievement was the proper strategy, which it wasn't. And today, what people are doing is they're teaching young kids that everything is racist and everything is sexist, it's going to have severe, severe consequences. When these people are older, they're going to have severe problems when they find out that racism is not what's preventing them from getting ahead in the world. What's going to happen when all these people of minorities, whether it's a gender minority or a racial minority, what's going to happen when they're in positions of power and they do not succeed? Then what's going to happen? Who are they going to blame? They're going to have the same problems. They're going to get angry and they're going to blame it on something else instead of blaming it on themselves in a failed system.